Hey coin collectors, and welcome to the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today we're going to take a look at the 1960 United States Jefferson nickels. We've heard a lot about the 1960, and one of the things you hear about the year 1960 is that if you look at the Denver Mint, you will never ever find a full steps nickel. In fact, PCGS, the professional grading service, has never graded a 1960 Denver Mint nickel as a full steps version. The highest they've ever come is a MS67 with no full steps. So let's take a look through these and see, first off, if we can find any Denver ones. And one of the things you don't want to do with the 1960 is look on the front for the mint mark, because the mint mark on the 1960, as with every nickel before 1968, is on the back. The mint mark didn't move to the front until 1968. And there's a Denver Mint one right there. Unless I told you there were steps here, you probably couldn't even tell. I mean, you could guess there must be some kind of steps. So this is the Denver Mint from 1960. And you can see that actually the writing actually comes out okay. The mint mark is pretty readable. Everything else looks good, a little bit chippy. And that's one of the reputations for the Denver Mint for 1960 is that it might have chips all over it. This is clearly a really worn coin. We look down here, we're not going to see the initials because, guess what? No initials until late 1960s either. If we look at this coin at the Denver Mint, we know that they made 192.6, almost 200 million of these, and none of them that they've found so far has full steps. Let's take a look at this one up here. This one looks like it's in much better shape. Really good. So one of the things you look at is the star. There's a good star, some good coloring there, really good writing. Let's flip it over and we'll see. And no mint mark on this one. And is actually, we see a little bit of steps on there, but not a full steps, but at least a couple. But because there's no mint mark, that means it's a Philadelphia Mint coin. One of the other things we look at for the 1960 on a 1960D is what they call the bar nickel or the error die clip, where the 0 on here actually has a little chip above it, and it looks like it's attached to the nickel. So we'll look for those too. Another 1960. Let's just flip it over to start because no sense looking at the front. That's a Denver Mint, and absolutely no steps, and no bar on the nickel, though we do see a little bit of a bend there. That's not going to be good enough. What about the Philadelphia Mint? Well, at the Philadelphia Mint, they only made about 54.4 million. And they do have some full steps versions at the Philadelphia Mint. In fact, they have an MS66 at Philly, full steps, MS66 Plus, that sold for $15,250. So one of these did sell with full steps at an MS66 Plus for $15,000. But of course, we see we got no steps on there at all. What do we have on the back? Well, we have E pluribus unum at the top, United States of America at the bottom, 5 cents through the through this kind of circle here, and then Monticello right here. And those of you who've seen the new nickels have noticed that there's actually an FS over here on the back. On the newest nickels, Felix Schlab's initials are right back here. All right, let's try another one. 1960, flip it over, it's a D. We can almost see that there's a door there on this one. I guess that's, and guess what? We see the little tiny bits of steps here. And again, this is in really good condition. Look how good that D is. Look how good this lettering is. But it just didn't come out that way. PCGS says that what you're going to find in a 1960D are lots of scratches, lots of nicks, because the planchets they used to make these were already scratched when they punched them out. All right, there's a 1960. What do we got on the back? Another D. So we have a bunch of Ds here, and it makes sense because they made almost 4 times as many Denver Mints as they did Philadelphia Mints. Again, no steps. And finally, this one here is a Philadelphia. So we don't have the die chip, and we don't have the bar nickel. We don't have any full steps nickels. If we did find a 1960 without the full steps for the Denver nickel, we still could get some money for it. They have found 7 so far in Denver without the full steps, but that are MS 67s, and the highest price they've got on those listed is $4,150. So you can get over $4,000 even if you don't have the full steps for a 1960 Denver nickel. What about the proof nickels? Well, they did make proof nickels in 1960, but they were all made at the Philadelphia Mint, so they won't have a mint mark on the back. They will be incredibly shiny, and a proof 69 deep cameo is listed for $3,250. So do look for the Philly proof nickels, and the way you'll see it is you'll have a proof finish on them, but there'll be no mint mark there because they didn't make them at San Francisco. They made them at Philadelphia Mint for the proof coins for 1960. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coinroll International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comment section.